Hi, everybody. It is episode 14 of a conversation with Mr. Inspirer. I'm glad you can all join me once again. Hi, Timothy. Welcome to the show. I'm so proud of the
Ron,
period man that he has become. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my good friend, Alex Francis. Alex,
thank you, Ron.
it's such an honor to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Ron. I'm honored.
You know, Alex, you truly are one of my biggest inspirations in my life. And I'm just so proud of all of your accomplishments on and off the mat, bro. So why don't you just tell everybody how long have you been wrestling?
So I started wrestling when I was in eighth grade. I played basketball for up until seventh grade and kind of got out of that. Some bad coach and a wrestling coach came up to me one day at lunch and was like, "Hey, uh, join the wrestling team." So I was like, "Yeah." A couple of my friends are doing it, so I'm out. Just absolutely.
Love you, Uncle Dennis. I just shot my uncle out for a second. What motivated you to the sport of wrestling?
It was really just the the atmosphere, like the hard work atmosphere. That I just really loved it.
How did your family support you in your decision? Did you talk to them about it, or did they just tell you to follow your own instinct?
So originally, my dad was a basketball player, so he wasn't really sure about wrestling, but it was like, I mean, they supported me all the way throughout it, and eventually they all learned the rules, everything, and they love wrestling now, even more than basketball, I think.
What do you think in your now? Does your day start before the school day?
Yeah, well, during the season, it does. A lot of times, I'm cutting weight before school.
And can you basically clear up what cutting weight is for those of us that don't know?
Um, During the season, it's like you're trying to get down to a certain weight class to where you're not too fat and not athletic, and you're not too skinny and out of shape, like tired.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to get in the best weight class that you can do well in. Um, Sometimes you're cutting 10 pounds, 20 pounds in a season. It just depends.
Do you feel that as a student athlete, do you feel a lot of pressure
Um,
to
I mean, yeah, you're constantly going to school. You know, you have people who come to the matches, uh, watching. You have the big responsibility of keeping your grades up during the season so that you can wrestle. And a lot of coaches, especially mine, like really, really try to make you strive for the best in your classes. So, like honor roll, being on the honor roll, or getting academic scholarships or anything like that coaches really like to see that out of their wrestlers.
I couldn't agree more on what you said. Do you consider yourself as a D1 athlete?
Um, do I feel like I'm a D1 athlete? Not really. I have gotten a few Division One type scholarships. Toledo has given me like wanted me to come wrestle, and a few others like that.
What is your dream school that you want to wrestle for?
My dream school probably like Iowa.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Why don't we I didn't explain how basically I know Alex and majority of wrestlers that I've interviewed already. Basically, I've reached out to them on their Instagram page, telling them how much they motivate and inspire not just me, but also my fellow Special Olympic New Jersey athletes to never give up because, as quote unquote, and I will get into detail a little bit later on when I give you the wisdom at the end of this, what I mean by that. So, what was it like for you having a Special Olympics athlete reach out to you?
A lot like I don't get a lot of people who come out and say, "Okay, I'm a big fan," you know. So, and especially one from New Jersey, like that, especially like the motivation that you give to everybody. I know that to some extent takes it to heart.
How do you feel about me motivating you up in your corner?
Dude, it just makes me the happiest person ever, Ron.
I'm actually glad you said that because what I love mostly, and Braden, shout out to you as well. I'm going to honor you in another podcast later on. But what I want to say to all of the wrestlers and football players, every student athlete is, um, and I know the difference between doing something like this and doing something on television is standards and practices. But what I really want to say is I respect the hell out of all of you because you guys are the creme de la creme.
Love you too, Ron.
And I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for not only listening to what I have to say to all of you, but for also taking time out of your day just to talk to me. It really brightens me up a little bit.
It means a lot. You're doing a good thing here, Ron.
One can only try. They try. But what advice, if you could talk to your younger self and motivate your younger self, what would you say to your
Um,
younger self and why?
Honestly, probably, your spot's not guaranteed, so you have to work for your spot. You know, a lot of sports, like growing up, I live in a baseball town, so I really love baseball. Growing up as a kid, everybody thought, there's a set group that was going to be the to grow up. You know, and even wrestling, I really imagine myself as a 4-year varsity letter winner. But if you work for it, you're going to achieve it.
You know what? I love that advice you just did. I'm gonna have you say to get it a little bit, work hard and achieve it. And I think that's really, a lot of student athletes feel that again, you're sacrificing so much to get to where you are right now? Do you feel that? And a lot of the student athletes I've interviewed in the past have told me that their grades were really impacted because of the sports that they're playing. So, do you really feel that your grades have been really impacted?
Um, my grades, well, you know, obviously wrestling, it's not easy. Uh, Waking up early, cutting times, um, or even just from cutting weight the night before, maybe for a big match. You wake up, you're dressed, you're not feeling like 100%, so your whole day at school, you can't really. You want to sleep, you want water, whatever you want to eat. It's also the mental aspect, like constantly when you're playing a sport you love, you're constantly thinking about the next moment you're going to be out on the mat. So yeah, I mean, grades definitely take a hit because what counts is trying to get them up and try and maintain them throughout the. So it's definitely a grind.
And how are your grades?
Currently, I have a 3.0. Kind of kind of have senioritis now. Could have a little high, but I'm not doing too bad.
Well, what I want to say to you, Alex, is, keep up the great work because, again, not only are you an inspiration to me, but also you are an inspiration to the community. You are highly admired and well respected. And I do respect the hell out of you for it. But I want you to remember the true reason why you're wrestling. You're not just doing it for you. You're doing it for your fans and the community because you're bringing the community closer together. How has the one thing I didn't talk about was the pandemic. So, how has the pandemic treated you last season compared to this season?
Um, Last season it didn't really affect it too much. Our tournament was held in like a old or in a high school gym, held at the Catholic Center, the big arena. Uh, but yeah, no, we didn't. Our school wasn't allowed to wrestle tournament, so it was strictly dual meets and tri meets. One team against one team against one team against one team. Um, but the year before, sophomore year, it really it shut down the entire tournament. We didn't have a tournament. We got shut down the day of for the state.
Wow, so was I. I was, I tell you this. I'm a Special Olympics athlete, and I'm also a volunteer for SONJ. So when the pandemic started hitting, they only canceled certain events, and we expected the summer games to happen. But once it started getting worse, we realized that they had to shut down everything. And I understand why they're doing it because it's everyone's health and safety. You can't socially distance over 500 people, especially for an event like SONJ. But what I would say to you is just try to keep up what you're doing right now. I mean, I know the sacrifices all of you guys are making is truly remarkable because, again, it's all about the time. And as you just mentioned before, during the season, you had to be in school before, hit the weight room, go over past footage, do drills, do the regular school day, then the practice, get ready for the meet, go back to school, get home, have a dinner or something, and then then you got to start all over again the next day. So it really does take a toll. But what I want to say to you, Alex, is you understand and you're a senior. So I applaud you, all the student athletes in the class of 2022, for all their hard work. But I want you guys to realize that you guys are truly remarkable and incredible young men and women. I really want you guys to know that. So, but I also want you to remember that you have a heart of gold and a Special Olympics athlete rooting for you every day. And that will never change. And I love you for that from the bottom of my heart always.
Means a lot, man.
So before I end this episode, do you have any questions you want to ask me?
Well, Ron, I hear you're a pretty good bowler, so you want to challenge you in bowling?
What was your question again, Alex? I'm sorry.
You want to let me challenge you in bowling sometime?
The honor will be all mine.
You probably would.
But no, I'll probably give you a couple of pointers also.
Sounds good.
Any more questions? I'm enjoying this.
Nope, that's all, Ron.
Well, Alex, I am so honored to have you on here. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And I know that I will be rooting for you always. And regardless of where you're going to commit, just know that I will be so proud to say I remembered him when. And that's the true blessing.
Means a lot, man.
Well, you mean a lot to me, Alex. So thank you so much for being a part of it.
Love you, Ron.
Don't forget what you owe me. Call me on IG.
I got you, Ron.